subtly, when we talk about having women in tech, to some people, we are trying to play the game of feminism here. Like,
kick the men out.
Let's kick the men out. But that's not the goal.
I've had a boss tell me without first asking, saying, "Oh, you have children, so I know you know what to do this thing." But I haven't said I don't want to do this thing. You haven't asked me.
Right.
You haven't given me the opportunity to turn you down.
That's true. Guys are very direct. I don't want to do this again. I want to move on. Okay. But women, they'll be some women, not all women, so that Nana doesn't come after me.
I haven't said it.
Some women will be quiet about it, or some young ladies will be quiet about it, but they have issues, but they wouldn't want to voice out.
We should all be feminists, in my opinion. Everybody should be a feminist.
I mean, with this division,
yes, and that's the thing. Yes,
sure,
I think that it's gotten a bad rap.
Right,
so people think that if you're a feminist, you hate men.
That's true.
I'm a feminist with a husband.
Welcome to Building Bytes, where we tell relevant stories about Ghana's tech ecosystem to drive growth and innovation. This show is proudly brought to you with production support by Hubtel Academy. And it's also the third All Stars Women in Tech episode of Building Bytes. And this is where we highlight the stories of women in tech in the Ghanaian ecosystem and the impact they're making in Ghana and beyond. I have here with me...
Hi, my name is Akosua, the founder of Tech Connected.
Hello, my name is Ubaida and Akosua. I'm the programs manager at Because She Can and a data analyst and scientist at Big Data Ghana.
Hi, I'm Nana Adwoa. I'm co-founder and CEO of Poker Technology.
Okay, and we are going to have a conversation on shaping diversity and inclusion in the tech space. And before we even get to the meat of the conversation, Ubaida, what happened in tech?
So yesterday, Wednesday, 11 December, Google announced Gemini 2.0 Flash, and the company says it can natively generate images, audios, and text as well. And the Flash can also use third-party apps and services, allowing it to tap into Google's search, execute code, and many others. And I also heard that it is 2 times faster than the already existing Gemini 1.5 Pro.
Okay.
And they'll be integrating it into other Google services. And it will be available early next year, I think January. But they have the experimental version that is available on the AI Studio and the Gemini API. Yeah.
That sounds fascinating.
Yes.
And this is a competition against ChatGPT.
It definitely is.
Yeah, because I know in Ghana, when you talk about AI, everybody's
thinking about ChatGPT.
Yeah. And if Gemini is faster, it's able to incorporate into your workspace, and a lot of people actually use Google Workspace.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. Yeah. What do you guys think about what this new update is going to impact the businesses and for people who use Gemini and those who are yet to use it?
Well, like you said, it's lots of people use Google Workspace. So if I can work and be able to natively without leaving, my workspace, be able to attach a doc I'm working on to maybe improve the wording or to kind of generate some new articles out of it just within the very workspace I'm in. I think that makes a big difference with speed and with everybody just being more effective.
Yeah.
So I can see how, for me, I use Google Workspaces very much. And so it might be interesting to see how that changes my relationship with ChatGPT.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a plus for anyone vested in the use of Google Workspace. For me, I don't use Gemini, so it's a discovery for me, and for me to go and read more about how even their previous edition works.
Why don't you use Gemini?
ChatGPT is my best friend, so I think that's why.
Okay, now they are competition against GPT.
So I use Google Colab, and it has an AI that assists with writing code. And if it's going to be faster, I think I'll like that to be added to Google Colab as well.
Yeah, I know Google has been in the front line of responsible AI and how you'll be able to even enter AI engineering through prompt engineering. You have a lot of Google Cloud courses online, and with Gemini, I think they're right on track. I don't understand why a big company like Google is trying to compete with OpenAI because anyway, that's just a story
I
for another
mean,
day.
are they competing, or are they just kind of just getting on board and trying to improve their service and give us more value?
I think it's competition.
Fair enough, it is competition.
Yeah.
But what I mean is they're getting a job done that is actually going to be useful for people that use their service.
And we need redundancy in the space. I just hope that it will get to a point where Ghanaian companies will just push out products and then make it public that we've pushed out this product. People should go and check it out, and it's actually used, right? For everyone to, I'm excited for that.
Thank you.
All right, what's the news? The second
Okay,
news
moving on. Noxy Health organized free health screening for women in Malam Market, and they found out that over 70% of the women had hypertension.
Oh.
And it's from early stage to end stage hypertension. And I was reading an article, and I realized that usually Black people tend to get hypertension more than other races. And then also when it comes to gender, women get it more than men. And it's typically because of birth control, menopause, and then our hormones, basically.
For me, I like the fact that a company did marketing, free health service, and use that to collect data and push the data out there. We see a lot of free health screening running around. We don't see where the data is going. We can't really use it to measure the health, different health conditions. I like that it's out there for companies, individuals, researchers to maximize and tap into the data. I think for each of us who are into any form of marketing, entrepreneurs and anyone who does it, I really hope that we can put a lot of our data on the internet, because if you are building something and you are searching online, sometimes when it comes to data for Ghana, you have to search for 1998 data. It's so appalling.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we can do better in that way.
Definitely can. Then the last Tap Send resumes operations in Ghana. They were were they banned?
No, the license was suspended.
Yes, their license was suspended by the Bank of Ghana for having offshore CD accounts. And I know the CBG Bank also had the same issue. And then last year there was ZPay and Wise.
Yes.
But now they are back now. And Christmas is here.
So they are the largest
Remittance
app. So I think that can be a boost for our CD in this festivity.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which is probably why the ban got lifted just in time for Christmas.
Yeah. I think both CBG and Tap Send have gotten back their license. Yeah. So what does it mean for businesses or startups who are in the fintech space? What does withdrawing their license, giving it back to them just in time? I don't know the message they're trying to pass across.
When I heard about it, I feel like it kind of reduces your credibility. I know
It does.
So it's just like a penalty, a short penalty. Because I know sometimes you might go to jail, depending on the severity, or you might just pay a fine.
Yeah. You want to say something?
Well, I don't think it reduces their credibility. I think generally it's due diligence that most companies don't do from the beginning. Because,
are you sure?
Yes,
They are
because
the biggest.
no, but I mean, sometimes they have their way around operations. Because if you've had to sit in some conversations, you realize that there are a lot of things that the government overlook when it comes to dealings with certain people.
Okay.
Because one, I'm not saying that it's like that with Tap, but this is just on the side.
Okay.
Because one, maybe they know the people, so there's always a shortcut to things, and then it will come back to them. Because there was a time where, startup convos, we were hosting conversations on data, legal matters, and we realized that most startups do not do, they don't incorporate legal stuff from the beginning of the operations. And they have very valid reasons why they don't do that. And the fintech space is one very, very
Heavily regulated.
come again. Heavily regulated, but a lot of people don't even comply. So you realize that they even raise huge sums of money and then it comes back to zero for them for several reasons. Some obvious reasons, some too we don't know. So for me, I think when it happens that way, it puts other companies on check and also on their toes that you can be operating freely, but the government can come after you. Because in our case, especially when governmental officials, in terms of their transition with work, is based on political parties and all that, maybe some would overlook it. Others, when they come, they'll do their due diligence and they would want to fish out those who are not operating rightly. And the whole saga about the bank, there was a time when a lot of banks were restricted from operating and all that. And some were operating, but not through legal ways or as they had to transact their businesses. So all these things are factors that I think puts companies on their toes or startups on their toes. You can start operating, but if you don't do the right thing from the onset, it will come back to bite you.
That's true.
No matter what you do, it will come back to bite you. And sometimes the price you pay at certain stages are more expensive than even the beginning if you had done your due diligence or you had complied from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the fintech space, I think generally that Africa is overregulated. Many of our industries are overregulated, and it tends to stifle innovation.
Okay.
So I don't have all the details about tap send,
Right.
but I think that as entrepreneurs, we are constantly innovating. We're
Yes.
constantly pushing the envelope. You're trying to do what somebody hasn't done before, and sometimes the government will come in and check you if they think maybe to protect policy, to protect rights and data and things like that. But it's their job to, I guess, protect the people, and our job to push the envelope.
Yes.
So, and sometimes the overregulation can dampen the innovation in that way. So Bank of Ghana, I know personally, is very diligent.
Yeah.
But so in this case, I can't say if it's TapTapSend's fault, if it's Bank of Ghana's fault, overlooking something. I don't have all the
details.
information. But I think that maybe entrepreneurs were pushing the envelope and then regulators were regulating. So everybody was kind of just doing their job and they met in the middle. And unfortunately, when you're the regulator, you have more power. Or fortunately, I guess it depends on where you're standing.
From the article that was read, I realized that the real reason was TapTapSend was operating an offshore CD wallet, and that was a violation on the banking and foreign exchange laws of Ghana. So they unplugged this for a month.
They unplugged it. So I guess you learn a lesson. So like you're saying, other companies are put on notice that yes, innovate, but in this space, this is what can go wrong. So that's a precedent. And then everybody knows that, I can do a lot of things, but this one, they've caught somebody already, so I won't try that.
You have to be careful.
Yeah, but exactly, be careful.
Please, fintechs, be careful. Okay, so thank you very much, Ubaida, for sharing what happened in the tech space for us. Now we are getting into the conversation, and I know most of you have seen our guests in the limelight at different spots, but since they are here, I would like them to introduce themselves. So, as you're introducing yourself, I would like you to share why you are doing what you're doing. Right?
Interesting.
So, Akosua, you can go ahead. How did you come into tech, and why are you doing what you're doing?
Such a long journey, but I'll make it short.
Okay.
So my name is Akosua, and I'm the founder for Tech Connected. Basically, what we do is we are bridging the skills and knowledge gap between academia and the industry.
Okay.
We do that through training, mentorship, personal development, and connecting our community members to global tech opportunities. So our niche is technology. Even though we run more like a company, we are a social enterprise. So everything we do, the focus is to give back to the community. Because there was some time that I noticed a challenge with the young people. I'm a young person, but I mean with other young people, where I happen to do a lot of voluntary work as to mentorship with organizations.
So which organizations?
So there's an organization called Faith, Hope and Love, where we help young people. We educate them on sexual reproductive health matters. And also we teach them how they could build their careers and all that. Even away from that, whilst I was on campus, I was in an international hostel. So
What campus?
University of Ghana.
Getting all the details.
All the details. Oh, okay. No, please be accent so that I don't skip.
Okay, sure.
So, University of Ghana. I attended University of Ghana, but through my stay on campus, I was at the international hostel.
Okay.
Not because I was an international student, I was just favored. Okay. So, one of the things I noticed is when the level 100s come in, most of them are confused as to how they can navigate their way around campus. And I usually used to talk to them, help them in their course. And I did biochemistry. So I used to talk to them. Those in the biochem, maybe I give them a few tips what to look out for when you're in level 100. Because when you're in level 100, you don't start with biochemistry. You do all the other sciences like chemistry, physics, marine science, biology, and the rest. So like try to advise them that, even though you came into biochem, it doesn't mean that you're a biochem student. Because if you don't make the cutoff, when you're going to level 200, you might not get there. I don't know whether it happened for you guys, but yeah. So just to advise them and like help them, like sometimes invite them for church and all that. And whilst I was there, I could, because I just love to talk to young people and to help them in any way I can. So even before university, if I could remember, at a very young age, I could lead my fellow cousins or my cousins to read the Bible. We used to read Proverbs and all that. So I think that interest was nurtured. But at that point, I didn't know where it was taking me to. So when I got to the university, the opportunity was granted to me by seeing a lot of young people like myself, and they needed help. So in my quest of helping them after school, they were still in touch. Then so some of them, Akosua, I need internship, I need a job. But I realized most of them were not ready for the job market. And so when I got the idea to help, it wasn't really official. Truth is, one time I just started talking about my testimonials from LinkedIn as to how I've gotten opportunities, I've had connections, and people were like, "Oh, Akosua, teach me." So I just created a page on WhatsApp and I put a link on my status that, if you want to learn how to leverage on LinkedIn, just join. In a matter of like 2 days, I had over 200 people. Then it started. So I was like, okay, this is actually a need. But because I'm very busy, I spoke to someone that, can you help me manage the community? So we had people joining and it was getting exciting. So I started talking to friends in the tech space who own companies, and they sometimes also ask for talents to work with and all that. And they were willing to give jobs, but the people were not qualified because now it was a matter of integrity. They are taking the people not because they know them, but because it's coming from Akosua. So that means I had to do a lot of checks before recommending them. Even now, I had an experience recently where a friend just called me and was like, Akosua, the talent you gave me, I took care because of you. I didn't do my due diligence because there was an issue with communication. And so I had to apologize. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. So all these things, I realized that, I'm doing a good job, but then heavily people trust the talent because of me. So then I need to put things in structure. So I decided to get a team, and then we started. Our initial name was Tech Connect Africa, but the name was like a buzz everywhere. Tech Connect. I remember there was one time Tech Connect Africa organized an event in Ghana. That was their first event in Ghana, and people thought it was us. People were tagging me. People were tagging me in their post, and it was getting uncomfortable. So I told my team that let's change the name. So we changed the name to be Tech Connected. So last year we rebranded. So this is our 3rd year of operation. So last year we rebranded. So that's how I started.
But let's go back to where you grew up.
Oh, wow.
We're
going all the way back.
Sure. Okay. No, it's very important.
As much of information that you're willing to give. Maybe your junior high school, your senior high school. You mentioned while you were talking about you putting your cousins together to teach them about Proverbs and other things. But sometimes the career that we are into, it has no linkage to how we grew up. But some of the ways, the culture that we grew up in somehow shapes us into the kind of career we are in. So just not...
I get it. Sure.
Just as much as you're able to share.
So fortunately for me, my parents, like they are the kind of parents that, I mean, do anything you want to do and will support you once it's legit. So I didn't have
legit.
yeah. I didn't have my mother choosing, like, the only influence they had was with our schools. My mother was
After your
so
junior high school. Oh, yes.
right from my junior high to SHS. I wanted to go to Wesley Girls, but my mother said I should go to Ebri Girls because she wanted to go to Ebri Girls and she didn't get the opportunity. So her girl has to go to Ebri Girls. So I ended up choosing Ebri Girls, which I regretted because I wanted to go to Wesley Girls. Not to say Ebri Girls is a bad school, but I was a huge gay fan. Like, even to date, I'm a gay fan, low key. But I still like say that I went to Ebri Girls with pride. I mean,
went
no
to Wesley
offense.
Girls,
Did you also go to Ebri Girls?
I went to
Oh,
Wesley
she went to
Girls.
Wesley Girls.
Ah, okay.
So you're welcome to that.
So I went to Ebri Girls, but my choice of course or subject, when I was in primary, I was very good in science.
Okay.
So I thought I wanted to become a doctor. So then I chose science when I went to SHS.
You hold on that. She thought you wanted to be a doctor. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'll
So-
come back to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll actually come back
All
to
right. Okay. Sure.
you. Ubaida.
So just like Akosua,
You
I
also
wanted to be a doctor, but I hate the smell of hospitals.
Oh.
It's very specific.
So when
Same.
I did choose general science, I went to Krobo Girls, and then while I was doing it, I hated biology too.
Huh.
I loved
Why?
physics.
Why would you hate biology?
It wasn't fun for me. I like physics.
That's my favorite.
I love physics. So when I was studying physics, and then my teacher spoke about biomedical engineering and how we'll be using physics and then medicine and all of that. So I studied biomedical engineering at
Why university?
KNUST.
University.
Yes.
Interesting.
And then for my final year project, I wanted to do something exciting. Because in biomed, when we talk about biomed in Ghana, we're looking at clinical engineering. And that was so boring for me, especially with the fact that I was going to be in a hospital. And then I came across AI in medicine. I was like,
Nice.
okay, this is my vibe. I'm going to stay here. But I wasn't exposed much to different fields of tech. I only knew software engineering.
Okay.
So I started learning software engineering.
In school?
Yes.
While doing biomedical engineering.
So biomedical engineering in KNUST is under the computer engineering department.
Oh.
So you take some programming courses. But I went extra to take a program outside of school.
What program?
Fundamentals of software development at Kofi Annan Center
Okay.
while I was in second year. And then third year, I asked to do an internship, right? And all my job opportunities have been network based. So I got a connection and then I started it. But before he picked me, he point blank told me that he doesn't pick girls for
Wow.
his internship.
Hold on.
And
Did you ask why?
I did ask why, because it didn't make sense. He said it was a remote internship. And he said usually the girls he picked, they give excuses that they have chores to do and all of that. So I now
I
had
have
to
so many thoughts about that.
literally convince him that I'll be able to do the job regardless. And I started it. I'll tell that story later on.
Okay.
I did have a couple of issues, but I told them my mind and I finished that internship. So in final
Oh, so you
year,
actually accepted the internship?
yes,
And how many months?
it was 3 months.
Okay.
But I had issues.
Mm.
So final year, my thesis was on applications of deep learning in diagnosing glaucoma. So Ghana has the second highest rate of glaucoma worldwide.
Interesting.
I have
Oh.
glaucoma myself, so that was an interesting topic for me. And then I realized that it's not only software engineering I can use in medicine. I can use AI, but I wasn't like properly exposed to
Okay.
it. So after school, after my national service, I did my national service with Because She Can. Actually started before I finished school. So I'm the program manager at Because She Can. And we help girls with resources, mentorship, opportunities and trainings. We have partnerships with several organizations. We've partnered with Black Girls in Tech, Play and Learn Foundation, Code Train, Code and Cocktails for last year's events, this year's Legal Tech Lounge. Like we have lots of partnerships.
Okay.
And I also handled the volunteering program, mentorship, and then the Code Bridge Fellowship, which was December for Women Who Code. And that is where we are raising funds right now to give laptops to girls from less economically advantaged background.
Okay.
So back to my story.
Okay.
After my national service, I joined Blossom Academy for the GIZ AI for Women Fellowship.
Yeah.
It was a 4-month
Last year?
fellowship. No, this year.
So that's it. Okay.
And it was only girls, and it was so fun. I loved it. And I finished that in June.
Okay.
Right, yeah, in June. And I also volunteer with a couple of organizations. Women in Machine Learning and Data Science, She Rises. I volunteered with Play and Learn,
Well,
and several others, just for the fun of it, because I actually enjoy volunteering. And I currently work at Big Data Ghana as a data analyst stroke scientist. And Big Data provides GIS solutions with AI for different industries. Health. We recently worked on something for the Electoral Commission to show flashpoints for the election and map. And then we also we are partnered with AWS. So we help people migrate their services to the cloud as well. Yes, so basically that's about me. But my interest is in developing AI models for medical image diagnostics.
wow.
And I hope to pursue a career in that.
And we'll be supporting you on
That's
that.
really cool.
Najwa,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Tell us about yourself.
Okay, I feel like I should just start straight from when I was born. Okay, so my
should.
mother was
You
pregnant.
should. You should.
I'm Nana Adwoa. I'm a lawyer. I'm a writer. I'm a mother. I'm many things.
Okay.
But now currently I'm an entrepreneur. I have 2 startups, but I'm here on one, so I'll talk about that one.
Sure.
Podcast.
That's your
I know. Which is why when she was talking about startups not doing legal, I was like,
Yeah.
that's a big one. But I'm not here for legal today. So I'm here on women's health. Poker Technology has a mobile app called the Poker Health app. And we are a cycle tracker for African women specifically, but for Black and African women. When she mentioned that glaucoma was most preeminent in Ghanaians, you said second largest people affected, it kind of made me think about the fact that there's a lot of medical conditions that predominantly affect African women. And like you said earlier as well, there just isn't enough data. So we don't even know where to learn about our bodies from. So that's one of our missions at POCA, to collate and provide a lot of data about African and Black women's bodies and reproductive health conditions. So our app is currently a period tracker, and we also sell sustainable period products on the app, and we also have a community. Thank you. We have a community in the app where we are having these huge vulnerable conversations, because Africans generally we like to shroud a lot of things around sex in mystery, and people are not able to. People feel stigmatized when they have real problems around sex and reproductive health, and so we've created a community of just under 400 women, African women, just worldwide,
Amazing.
that talk about these big problems. We support each other, we learn from each other, and then we are curating a community to continue to grow and provide the data that we don't have at the moment around African women's productive bodies and health. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's my story.
So I'll just take you a little bit back.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So did you always want to be a lawyer?
I want to say yes, but I don't think so. I wanted to be a pharmacist when I was much younger. And then, for no real reason, we had a family friend who was a pharmacist. So I think that's probably, the inspiration.
So just a quick one, right? Your co-founder told us she wanted
to be a nun. Yes.
That's funny.
Interesting. She's a Catholic girl, okay? That's what she aspires to. So I wanted to be a pharmacist, and then I wanted to be a psychologist.
Oh.
And then, so I actually did study psychology in uni. I have a degree in psychology and French. And then I eventually wanted to be a lawyer. But then I think that I wanted to be a lawyer from when I was 17. But a couple of years ago, somebody I knew in primary school showed me a scrapbook from when we were like much younger. You know how you write your name, your ambitions, and apparently I wrote lawyer. I didn't remember that, and it wasn't part of my desires in my cognizant mind. but I guess I wanted to be a lawyer a long time that I just didn't remember. But when I was 17, I felt like it was my calling. And I still think it is. I don't think that God was wrong. I felt that God spoke to me and wanted me to. I asked him, like, God, what do you want me to be? Because I didn't know what I wanted to be. And I felt a strong leading that I should be a lawyer. And I think that path is what has led me here to be an entrepreneur, to be innovating in tech for law and for women.
Okay. So this our third All-Stars episode. That means we've been speaking with women in the tech space, getting to know where they are coming from, what their aspirations has been. And today's topic is very important because when it comes to diversity and inclusion in the tech space, we've been hearing the stories. Women are few in the space. We have very few women who are actually building. We have very few women who are entrepreneurs. We have few women who are even in our workspaces, right? But the conversation of diversity and inclusion, like Ubaida, you mentioned, we have so many challenges from the women's side, from the men's side, from the company side, right? And these conversations are not really well structured. We can't really pinpoint who, should it be a blame game? Should it be a call to action? Should we have like a strategic call to action in order to implement some of the strategies we have in mind to incorporate everyone in the tech space? The barriers that we keep experiencing, almost every one of them who have been on the show has told us an episode in their life where someone told them that you actually can't because you're a woman. And not because she can is here. I'm sorry about that. But so the conversation is on shaping diversity and inclusion. Currently in our workplaces, Akosua, what's the story? How is it so far? And how has the Ghanaian tech landscape changed in our approach to bringing more women in the tech space and getting women ready for the tech space?
I think it's way better than before because aside what I do as a founder, I have a 9-to-5. I work with a cybersecurity firm, and trust me, the ratio of girls to, or say ladies to guys, is leaning on the side of the ladies. We are winning because our CEO is a big supporter of having girls pursue tech or having young women pursue tech. So he would always go for young ladies for roles.
Do they disappoint him?
No, they don't.
Okay.
They don't.
Why?
The only thing is it's still unbalanced because cybersecurity, when it comes to ratio of women to men, it's still like there's still some disadvantages on the side of women because there's a lot of education that needs to be done and all that. So I think generally a lot of founders are also paying attention to having young women in their workplaces. And even on the side of hiring, sometimes they ask that you get them women. There are a lot of, generally in tech, I realize that there are a lot of programs that are suited towards women because they want to encourage more women in tech. I also play in the Web3 space. One of the things I notice in Web3 when they are hiring is when they realize that you're a woman, the rate of admission it's higher because they need more women in the space. So even if you don't qualify 100% and they see that, oh, you've got some experience, they are willing to give you the opportunity because they need more women in the space because it's highly male dominated. So I think for now, conversations around diversity when it comes to women in tech is getting better, even though there's a lot of work to be done. But also, when we talk about inclusion, I'm a bit biased because I believe it's heavily dependent on the individuals. Because in as much as we are promoting women in tech, the question we should be asking is, are these women willing to work in tech?
And stay
in tech? Because, we do a lot from my organization, we do a lot of community work. And sometimes when you even call out for women or young girls to come to tech programs, the numbers are few. You can talk so much, you can present them all the opportunities, or you travel, or you get this, but still, They don't want it.
They don't want it?
I think it's also a matter of interest.
Yeah.
It's a matter of interest. And I think it's fine because not everybody, in as much as we are promoting tech, not everybody wants to work in tech.
Yeah.
My very close friend is a doctor. I usually like talking to her about how she can even get tech in medicine, and she's not even paying attention to me. So I realized that it's a matter of interest, and you can't force people. So in as much as we are very heavy on this whole subject of inclusion, it's also heavily dependent on the women that we want them to break into tech. If they don't want to, we can force them. But then again, too, there are a couple of people out there who haven't heard about how tech can help them. So we have to still create the awareness and educate. But also, we don't have to see it from the point of feminism. Because one of the things we have a lawyer here. Because one of the things I also notice is subtly, when we talk about having women in tech, to some people, we are trying to play the game of feminism here. Like,
kick the men out.
Let's kick the men out. But that's not the goal. We are just saying there are a lot of opportunities in tech that we know equally women can enjoy. So let's get more women in. It's not like we want to kick the guys out. Because in as much as I'm a female founder, I like to work with men. It's sad. I've had a couple of women on the team, and it always come back to me working with the men, because they are willing to stretch themselves. They are willing to commit. The women always comes with excuses, and it's not like I don't work. So even on my team,
like that this is coming from a woman.
Yes, even on my team, I'm so biased as to how I manage the guys I'm very careful with the ladies, because I know women, we take things very personal. So
many points.
I love to hear that. So I'm very careful with how a case study scenario, a team member, my team, I have them also working with other organizations, and it's fair because we run as a social enterprise. So I understand that. I mean, you not get all your benefits from one company. If you can balance, that's fine. But there's a team member started working with a company. I mean, so my team is a blend of people in the university and people doing their service. I have a very young team, but still they are doing excellent. I mean, if you look at our work, you can see we deliver. I mean,
we deliver, guys.
Akweley knows much about my work, so I can boast about that. And the boast is the fact that I'm working with young people and they do quality work. And this lady, she's so good. She started doing her national service, and she's not able to deliver. So I told her that, you know what, just take a week off and then try to figure out how you combine your national service now. Even come to me if you need tips. I can teach you. She didn't come to me. She didn't even reach out. She didn't even tell me anything. When it got to the week, I was expecting her to come back with feedback. Nothing happened. But I still reached out to her. Do you need an extra week? She said yes. I gave her the week, no show. Then I was just thinking to myself, let me just ask her, do you want to resign? So, but did you ask her? I wasn't direct with that. I told her that, I mean, she's not delivering on a task, and her role is very key to what we do. Is she having thoughts of leaving or something? And then the conversation started. So I realized that, again, guys are very direct. I don't want to do this again. I want to move on. Okay. But women, they'll be some women, not all women, so that Nana doesn't come after me. I haven't said a thing. Some women will be quiet about it, or some young ladies will be quiet about it, but they have issues, but they wouldn't want to voice out. So that's the challenge when you're working with women on the team. Not all of them. My PA is very excellent. Very, very, like, she's one of the young people that I've worked with that literally she takes initiatives. She'll reach out, Miss Akosua, do I put this? Do I do this? Because if you are working with very busy people, sometimes they even forget they have people they are working with. Especially if you are used to doing things on your own, like myself. I'm used to always doing things on my own. So I can be working with you as my PN. Literally, I'm doing your work for you. Because in my mind, I need this thing fast. If I do it myself, it will be fast. So I'll do it myself. So these are a couple of challenges I have with working with like women or young people. There are some too who are very excellent on the job. They don't take excuses. They'll do the job. Not to say that we don't have our peculiar issues as women. Yeah. I mean, our flaws alone is a whole lot. Yeah. So I try to understand all that. Yeah. But with the guys, I mean, literally, they'll tell you that, you know what, I'm very busy now, but Charlie, I'll do them for you. I'll do them for you. And they'll do it. Open communication. Yeah. All the guys that they had to transition from my team to other companies, they told me, Akosua, at this point, it's hard for me to juggle the two. And I want to let's go be connected. And we move. We are still friends. I tell you, I mean, you are going, but if I need you, I'll call you back. And they are willing to deliver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
You've given us a very interesting perspective from your own personal experience.
But I think Nana Adwoa doesn't agree with me. Because the facial expression was a lot.
Not just facial expressions. I need to hear what
I also want to hear from her.
So I think that we need to differentiate between feminism and misandry.
Okay.
You see, feminism has gotten a bad rap.
Right.
First of all, let's define the two.
Yeah.
So feminism is wanting equal rights for women.
Yeah.
Misandry is trying to raise women up above men and push men out. That's what you're saying.
That's true.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah,
Even
that's true.
feminists, we don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a feminist?
Hello.
Okay.
We should all be feminists, in my opinion. Everybody should be a feminist.
I mean, with this division,
Yes, and that's the thing. Yes, I think that it's gotten a bad rap. So
Right,
people
right.
think that if you're a feminist, you hate men.
That's true.
I'm a feminist with a husband
Yeah.
and a father. I
Right.
mean, I like men as much as the next woman.
Who doesn't have a father?
I'm just saying, many people might not. Maybe I love my father. That's what I mean. Like I cherish him. I work for him. I think he's
Right,
brilliant. I honor him and everything. But I still think that women's rights are important.
Yeah.
I'll speak to what you were saying about how the boys are or the men are more able to tell you directly, and the girls are a little shying away. Maybe if we were raising our girls with feminism in mind, we would allow them the space and the confidence to express themselves. How many times do you see a mother speaking down to their daughter and shutting them up, telling them, "You're by
right.
women must
So
be
start
seen and
right
not
from
heard."
there.
And then the boys are allowed free range. A
That's
boy is
true.
climbing a cupboard and no one
Yeah.
says anything.
He's just a boy.
He's just a boy. Boys to be
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah.
A girl starts to climb and they're like, "No, get down.
Yeah.
You get heads. You mustn't get scars on your legs. You're a
Yeah,
girl."
right.
So we start to put these things in them from a very young age, and so women tend to cower.
Makes sense.
And so if I've done something for 20 years, I'm not going to change in 2 years because I've met a new
true.
person. It's going to be difficult.
Take
Yeah.
time.
If all my life I've been told I should keep quiet, I should keep things inside, I shouldn't express myself,
Right.
it's going to be difficult.
So I have a question for you in this regard. In grooming the women into the tech space, what are some things we should be teaching them?
Already grown up women or like young girls.
Yeah, in this
we are
case, I think it's
grooming-
both sides. Yeah.
we are grooming them.
Yeah.
Because we realize that the tech space we have is male
Male-dominated,
Yeah.
yes.
and we need competent women. We need people who are able to
Right.
pick up tasks, who are able to openly communicate. What are some ways, also some things we should be teaching them so that they would have it in mind that work is work. Yes, you have your period, you have your mood swings and all that stuff, but work is work. What are some things we should be teaching them? Things that are being taught men, in quotes. Yes.
I think a big one is what you were saying, is to give them opportunities.
Yeah.
Give them responsibilities. Don't think for them. I've had a boss tell me without first asking, saying, "Oh, you have children, so I know you know what to do this thing." But I haven't said I don't want to
You
do
have
this
to
thing. You
ask
haven't
me.
asked me.
Right.
You haven't given me the opportunity to turn you down.
That's true.
So give them opportunities, give them the space to assert themselves. And when they do, point it out that this is a time that you have done this, which is a positive thing,
Right.
positive reinforcements. And when they don't, you give them the stick, in the carrot and the stick thing. And also, I think it's good to form an environment where we know that women get their period every month.
Yeah.
And we know that the phases of our cycle affect us in big ways,
Right.
ways that growing up we're not aware of.
That's true.
That when you're in your luteal phase, you feel a certain
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
When our bodies are constantly working,
That's
churning
true.
out eggs constantly. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just never resting.
That's true.
And we don't acknowledge the effects of those on our bodies, on our productivity, on our moods, on our emotions.
Right.
Sorry, you don't even know what's going on. So you use a poker health app, will tell you. It's biological. You understand? We didn't choose it, and we shouldn't be punished for it. So I think it's good to also create a space where I tell you that I'm aware that this is what you're going through all the time. I understand that you're on your period. Maybe on day 1 or day 2 is like particularly hard. So if you're having a particularly hard day, be empathetic. As a woman, I would love it so much if my male boss, which I have had happen to me before, I said, "I'm having cramps today. I'm struggling. I'm not able to get the work done. Can I go home and have a rest and I'll finish it from home?" And he said yes. that makes me feel comfortable and confident that I can talk to him going forward. But I cannot also then use my period as an excuse every month.
Right.
Although I have it every month and I may feel the pain every month.
Yeah.
We just kind of have to try and work it out.
That's
but
true.
if we create an environment where I understand that they understand me, they know me, they know that I'm good at what I do.
Right.
But sometimes I'm just having a very hard day because of my biology. That, like you said, I did not choose it. I came as a girl. Nothing of I have no choice.
Okay.
This is who I am. So let's create that space. Yeah.
I have stories. I've been talking to other people about this, and I don't know, but like they kind of see you as an angry feminist, but I'm not angry. There's this issue of women taking advantage of such privileges that they get, and I think we should also be educated that even though you are getting these things as a privilege, you still have to get your work done either way. So maybe you can learn how to plan properly, schedule your activities properly in such a way that on certain days that you know you're not going to be productive. And there are apps.
Poker help out.
Yes, that can help you figure that out. You can just incorporate all of these solutions to help make your life generally better, your work life,
Absolutely.
personal life, and all of that.
Absolutely.
So I have a question for you on that. Do you think artificial intelligence can truly help us fight some of the biases or the risk that comes with women in the tech space, or some of the challenges that we face as women in the tech space?
I can't give a definite answer to that because AI is just doing what we have taught it.
Yeah.
There are existing
Very
stereotypes and bias that exist, like they are there already, right? And then when we are building these models, unconsciously we feed the models with these biases. So at the end of the day, when you're done, the model is going to exhibit that bias. And I think Amazon had a hiring app, AI app, and it was trained with existing data. And typically they'll hire males. So that app too was picking males and leaving the girls out. So it starts with the developers, the data. It's not the AI. Because you are literally just teaching it what we know and what we have. So it's with the individuals building those apps, not the AI itself.
All right. So we've been talking about shaping diversity and inclusion in the Ghanaian tech space, and my lovely guests have been sharing their own personal experiences and some strategies that you can incorporate in your workplace culture in order to make sure that it's open and it's accessible and it's inclusive and it incorporates diversity in your approach. And so with regards to the conversation you started, Nana Adwoa, on how our workplace culture can be open to women's selected. I don't want to use reproductive health per se, but I mean, looking at the fact that we are having a conversation of competent people who are applying for a job, right? What steps or what strategies can tech companies, individuals who are starting their entrepreneurial ventures, or even established brands put in place to incorporate all this diversity?
Incorporate diversity, you mean like in hiring? Or in just creating a inclusive
the company culture and the workplace culture?
I think it comes from education to start with, understanding, even for women ourselves, getting educated about the fact that this is what your body goes through and this is why you feel the way you feel. And that way we can educate other people around us to also understand and be a little more inclusive about in building a culture that helps us to thrive. If I know that I'm most productive when I'm ovulating, which is the fact that you're most productive, you're more keen to have meetings, you have more like brilliant ideas when your body's releasing eggs, when you're ovulating. And many people I don't even notice or aren't aware of it. They just know that at some point in the month they feel really motivated. If I know that that's what it is, and often when women are in the same space, we tend to sync. So there may be that a number of us will be feeling that motivation at the same time. What can the company do to tap that productivity out of us? That way, when we are in the luteal phase, we're heading towards menstruation, they can just allow us to maybe do behind the scenes work. Maybe if you're a developer, you're not meeting anybody that time. You're just doing all the coding you need to do, or you're reviewing your code that you've done, you're testing. You're not doing any face-to-face stuff. If we were to be more inclusive around that and more aware and just allow it, because it's in its nature, it will happen.
Yeah.
But how can we tap into it and be able to get the best out of the people that are constantly going through it?
Do you have a B2B approach?
Do I have
A B2B approach?
Yes, we do actually.
Okay.
Yes.
What is it, and how can companies tap into it?
So we have the app works, and we've just launched the subscription version, which allows you to have access to speaking to other women, just a kind of mentorship type thing.
Okay.
We're still building the mentors, but currently it's a founding team. You can speak to mentors. We're also building in a telehealth approach next year, and there's going to be a pocket AI bot for giving you personalized insights about your cycle. So what we're doing is, at the moment it's B2C, but we're intending to market it to businesses who can then subscribe for all the women that work in their company to allow them to be more aware of of their cycles.
I asked the question because as a company, if you knew the women in the company better,
like, you would get so much more from them.
You get more efficiency, you get more work outputs, and they won't even be shy to tell you that, okay, this is what's happening, I'm not able to come to work.
Yeah, I'm not shy. I'll let you know.
I've stopped putting pads in little pouches for years, because why am I hiding the fact that I'm on my period?
Okay.
I think there's also an issue, because I feel like that when you're talking about the problems you're facing, if someone doesn't face the same problem, they don't see the essence of what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And there are even some women who don't have period cramps, like everything is amazing. So even if you are talking to them about such things, they are like, what are you talking about? Like, drink water.
Drink water.
Drink water. That's what some people will tell you. Or like, just take painkillers. But I find it difficult to let people understand that this is an issue. You may not be facing it, but it is real and it's valid. So I think we should also try to let people understand that it doesn't matter what I am going through, but if I'm telling you that this is how I feel at the moment, you should be empathetic and understanding.
Okay. So, Akosua, I'm going to direct this conversation to the diversity of the whole topic. When we are talking about diversity, we are not excluding male.
Right.
And recently, actually, a friend of my guy spoke to me and was telling me about the fact that so we have this platform called grantspilots.co where we share grants. Almost all the opportunities will say, include a female. You have to have a female. It is for females. There's a grant for females. So now what I see a lot of my colleagues do is they are the ones front facing the company. They will get a female who doesn't even know anything about what they're doing, and they just bring them on board just to get access to the opportunities. And when it comes to diversity, it doesn't have to exclude males. So what can we do in our workplaces, in our even when it comes to the corporates who are giving grants, in order to not make it imbalanced, right? We are showing opportunities for women, but we don't want to exclude men. How can we go about that approach?
Tough one. So I don't think those things are to exclude men. I think generally there's this perception that there are a lot of opportunities that men have already taken advantage of or are taking advantage of. So in a quest to get more women in, let's make it quite tailored to suit women. And you find that especially in tech, where I even realized that in med school, when it comes to admissions, they give the women are given a different cutoff than the guys, because they want more women in the field. So I don't think men are being
lower.
Yeah, women is lower. Women is lower.
I wish
it was higher.
I don't know why.
Women is lower.
Do you agree with it? You do? I don't agree with the lower
Positive
cutoff.
No, I
discrimination.
don't.
I think it's just to encourage more women or get more women. So I think all those things are initiatives to encourage more women to come into the field.
But is it working?
But not
though?
necessarily. I think somehow it's working because when you go to University of Ghana, when you take courses like computer engineering, biomedical engineering, most of the engineering courses, even physics, you realize that before it was so hard to see women pursue those courses because in as much as like they are growing up, they are told that, oh, course we're ending, it's too hard. This course is just for guys. So even though they want to pursue it, they are forced not to because they are telling you that it's hard. It's hard. For instance, I remember I wanted medicine and I was given biochemistry. But I know I didn't like chemistry. So I told my uncle that my dad had passed. So my uncle was playing more like my father. So I told my uncle that I don't want to do the biochemistry. And my uncle was like, every course is difficult, so you do it. So I had that in my mind that every university course is difficult. So I just chose biochem. I mean, I just went in for the biochem because he told me that, oh, you actually have the option to pursue your medicine afterwards. And I think it actually worked for me because when I started doing biochem, I knew medicine wasn't for me. I even knew science wasn't for me because that was when I started developing interest in business. I could read things on marketing, but I'm a biochem student. Courses that were focused on entrepreneurship, courses that were focused on business. Those were the courses that you hear me ask questions. But courses that were focused on the real science. And I'm very vocal. So I remember in level 100, I told one of my lecturers, Reverend Bueno, I don't know whether during your time he was there. So I think he's retired now. I told him that the course is too abstract. And he laughed. It's like, my dear, we've been studying it like that. So from there, I knew that the course I'm going to do, like, it's a matter of just trying to see things with your eyes. And like, in reality, it's hard. And I even realized that in Ghana, have you heard someone say I'm a biochemist? Akweley, have you heard?
No.
You see how interesting it is?
Yeah.
And that was something I noticed early enough. And I realized, so why am I even doing the course? Because most people come out of biochem either pursuing medicine or doing research.
Yeah, I was told that the undergraduate course, doesn't really qualify you to be a biochemist. You have to go do another top-up and then a certificate course or something like that.
So, and that was a problem for me. Because why do I study 4 years deep science and I have to do a top-up before I can become a biochemist? So, all those things, I mean, I realized that science wasn't my thing. So, that's when my interest, and I used to sell a lot in school, not because I had to sell low, but I like to talk to people to buy things from me. So, at a point, I realized that entrepreneurship was my thing. Because as I could easily convince people, if I want you to get my thing, you will get it. So all those things are there. So in school, most of my friends that they see what I'm doing, they are not surprised because they knew this girl, the science is not for her. And I wasn't sure about it. That, I mean, I don't really talk science.
Yeah.
Because I always used to tell them that, you know what, you look for me one day. We used to say it as a joke. And I think the challenge for me was, if you're in a typical science class, there's a way that they like make you feel like you're not serious. Truth, my people, they used to make me feel like I'm not serious. Because here's a case where I know that I'm a biochem student too, but I have other things I do in school. I'm volunteering. I'm going for this church event. I'm traveling outside school to do impact works. And they used to see me that I'm not serious. It was affecting my grades though, and I wasn't bothered because I didn't like the course. But for me, the fulfillment for me is I knew it was just a matter of time for people to understand why I was doing what I'm doing. So now I just thank God that all those times I know I didn't waste my time in school. I didn't become a doctor. I didn't become a researcher. But I know my friends look up to me.
Yeah.
They see value with me because I'm also somewhere. Likewise, they're also somewhere. But then, you know, if I didn't really come far like this, they might laugh and say that she wasn't serious in school. But now they can't say that. They can call it, oh, she's doing amazing. When we were in school, she likes to sell. So now she's selling. She's an entrepreneur. You get it? So
Absolutely.
I think all these things adds up to how we become in future, but heavily to its dependence on upbringing, as Nana Adwoa said. And I think the problem with girls, a lot of girls are not very vocal or very confident to speak their minds. What you said, trust me, a lot of women can't do that because they feel like they'll lose their job. Oh, my boss would think that I'm some way. But
and that's fair.
And that's fair
it's the
enough.
environment that we've been brought up
Exactly. So now the challenge for us is even how do we help people who are already old? Because they are past their formative years. And when it gets to certain stages in our life, changing is very tough. Mentorship.
I think so.
Yeah, but it's still dependent on them.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, this is very interesting, and which brings me to the question of, for the tech space, right? How do we break it down into the different segments and opportunities that would be appealing for women? Because we realize that we have a lot of opportunities. We even have them. They've written women can apply, but women will not apply. And yes, interest is a factor, but then the interest is based on knowledge. If they know that after taking advantage of this opportunity, this is where I'm going to go, or this is what I'm going to be doing, this is where it's going to take me, right? Even without the connections or without hand-holding, being able to take ownership of their own career journeys in the tech space would be able to help them in time to find their feet in. You understand? How are we going to, I don't know how to put it, but how are we going to tell our younger women who are coming up that, okay, if you're interested in this, if you're interested in selling, these are the career opportunities in the tech space you could leverage on. If you're interested in negotiation, you could be doing this and that, and you're going to be doing excellence in that field. What are some roles? What are some avenues of impact we should be using? And because you can maybe talk about some of the avenues or opportunities and how you're able to showcase to young women for them to take advantage of them.
Okay, so first of all, I'll say representation matters.
Okay.
If there's a particular role and then I'm a young girl, I've not seen any woman do it, and upbringing too, girls are not allowed to have audacity like the way men.
That's the word.
Men can just get up and do things.
Surprisingly, audacity came in the previous.
Koyaki always talks about it.
Yeah.
She says, like, if there's a role on in LinkedIn, and then maybe I only have 6 out of 10 of the duties, the qualifications. As a girl, I'll apply.
That's
but if
true.
let a man have like 2
One.
They'll jump
or
on
even
it.
1,
Zero. He's like,
They'll
what?
start
I
applying.
learn.
they'll go for it either way.
Yeah.
So we have to like allow girls to have audacity. And then last year for our December for Women Who Could, we were interviewing some girls, and then one of them, I think it has to do with stereotypes, right? She wanted to pursue computer science in school, but her father didn't allow her because he wasn't educated. But they spoke to her uncle, and her uncle said that program is for fraud. Yes,
Wow.
because that's what they've seen. They've seen people with computers and laptops doing fraud. They've not seen people with laptops in their community building apps and doing amazing things like softwares and things to help their community. So all they know is that if you are going to do computer science or any computer related thing, means that it's fraud you are going to do. So representation matters.
Right.
Imagine they've seen someone, whether a boy or a girl, and you tell them, oh, I'm a software engineer, I do this and this with my laptop, or I'm a data scientist, all of those things. Their mind opens to the fact that these are things I can pursue as well. Yes. And then the audacity part as well, our upbringing.
Yeah.
And then that because we don't focus only on technical skills.
Okay.
We focus on the soft skills as well.
Absolutely.
So some people, there's this thing about data scientists and tech people not knowing how to present their findings. Like you can do amazing work, build the most amazing apps, but if you don't know how to communicate it and let people know, like, this is what I've done, then it's more or less not really a big deal.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere that as a woman or as a black person, whatever you're doing, make noise about it. If you have cleaned data in Excel, make it seem like the biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because you have to do twice as much as a woman to prove yourself. You have to do twice as much. And if you are a black woman in a white-dominated company, you have to
Prove more.
yes, to show that I can actually do it.
Right.
Right. So we should focus on our soft skills as well and be loud about whatever we are doing, no matter how small it is.
Yeah. There's this old woman who told, I think we interviewed the marketing manager at Andela, other marketing manager. She was telling us that if you are the first person in the field that you are in, you're not going to be the last. It's not going to end with you. So whatever you are doing, you're making a mark, and you definitely have to prove yourself so that it will give room for women who are coming up to also know that, yes, there's a standard I have to get to, you understand, and aspire to also reach that level. So as we are wrapping up, in measuring impact and measuring accountability when it comes to inclusion and diversity, what are, when organizations say they are working on it, or yes, we are inclusive, we are, female friendly, they'll put it very big on their website. Yeah. What exactly are the actions that they should be taking for us to know that they're actually serious about it as a company?
I think I'll connect with it. It should be accommodating. A couple of months ago, someone in our community told a story about how she studied computer science at the University of Ghana, and she's doing her national service at a big company in Ghana.
Okay.
So she has gone into the company knowing that she's going to work in a tech role. Guess what they did? They took her out of the tech department. And guess the excuse? Like, I was so shocked when I heard it. I thought she was joking. But they said first of all, she's a girl. She will have her period. She'll get married. And how is this a basis for you?
Tech company? Sure.
It's a tech company. How is this a basis for you to say that, like, to do that?
She should be suing them.
And it's not, like, she has been with us for a long time. So she has, like, I know her. Yes. She has worked on our websites before. Like, she can actually do the work. But for them to take her out with that excuse, if you see maybe the place is full.
Was there an email?
There was not. I didn't. She just said it.
Nana Adwoa can see where I'm taking it.
She just said it to us. But yeah, they should be more accommodating, and some of them just put it there as a front, like we are looking for women. Some of them to just want you to be on their brochure that they've hired women. The affirmative action in Ghana, they just want to fulfill that part of their commitment to the country. But like, it's not really showing. Some of them too don't allow girls to work. I thought I was gonna tell the story. So after I got my internship, and then they assigned us tasks. So I was supposed to work on a landing page, and this was my first take. I didn't do the work. I was struggling to do it because that was my first time. So I reached out to someone else to ask for help. He told me that, he's doing it. The boss asked him to do it. And I'm just feeling so useless. Like, why am I here? I'm supposed to be learning. It's an internship. But you're not even giving me the chance. So I did go and I told them my mind. And then afterwards, they allowed me to like work on other things.
So you should be telling them your mind.
Tell it respectfully. Yeah. But there's that as well. Some of them just want us for their billboards and to say that they've hired women. But they are not really allowing us to do that. And when that happens, first of all, I think I was the only girl. They are going to say that I'm not working. And they'll say that girls are not working. But they're already more. Look at the ratio. On the project I was working on, we were 8. So 7-1. And now they'll see that girls are not working because first of all, they've taken my work away from me. And they are doing it. So it's be like girls are not putting in the work. Meanwhile, I was doing it, but it was taken away from me. So if there's more, if it's 5, there are 10, 5, it's balanced. And if you're not doing the work, you can see, well, the girls are not working. We can say it's true. But if the data is imbalanced and you're saying we are not working, that's a bias.
So, in a case like this, where you have been assigned a task, let's just, we are all here, ladies. We've worked with people who have
shown motivation, they are interested in getting the work done, they lack the skill. We are telling them that they should apply even when they don't have the skills. Now they're in the role. They are truly willing to, get the work done. And there's a situation where someone somewhere is telling them that, okay, if you're asking for help, that means you can't do it. And so let me take the work from you.
Correct.
What are some things that the woman should do or the company can do to support her? I don't know if you're getting the question, but I feel like we see these instances so many times. And when it happens, what are the things that we should be doing in that instance?
Who is we in this case? Are we assuming we are the ones that are getting the job, are working there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think I'll say it again. It has to be your personal motivation. If yes, we know that you're not qualified, but you had the audacity to apply, then continue with that same audacity and learn. Learn things on the side. How can I improve this thing that I've been given to do, even though I'm not very good at it, but I want to better myself. So it comes from like an inner self-motivation and also seeking help, maybe not within the organization if you don't want them to say that you can't do it.
Within the organization.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe you could try, say, getting mentorships outside of the organization, somebody that knows. So when I was a pupil, you're in this is as a lawyer, you're essentially like an intern, but you're a qualified lawyer, but you're doing your pupillage, so you're learning to be a qualified lawyer.
Yeah.
If the lawyers in the firm give you work and you don't get it, and you can ask them, usually you should be able to ask them. But if you feel like that will disadvantage you, then ask another qualified lawyer on that same level in a different firm. Who's your friend? I have this thing, I don't understand this. Can you talk me through it? They talk you through it. You come back and you show to your seniors that, oh, now I get it. They see improvement. They don't know how you improved, but at least that they see that you're somebody that's motivated. The next time when you ask them, they'll realize this person wants to improve herself. So let me give her the tools. And I think in all of this, again, we're not sidelining the men. They are very important in this. Don't assume that inclusion is the woman is in the room. Let's leave her to do the thing. But let's also give the support that we can give, because you know that by being a man, that life is not all dandy and easier for men by any stretch of imagination. But you are going to be less. You have less obstacles just naturally. Nobody's going to be questioning your abilities as much. And so try to bring the woman along with you. Try to learn about it and help them also improve as you are also improving.
Okay. And Akosua, what are some practical progress steps that we can use as companies to track our abilities of incorporating inclusion or diversities in the structure of our culture?
Before I touch on that, can I add up to what Nana is saying? So I think generally when it comes to people delivery on the job, there's no like formula, because it depends on the culture. It depends on, from a personal experience, my first job was, official job was with a tech NGO, and they were doing like good works on international level, and I was put in a role that I had to learn. I was told that I'm a business development associate. I have to write grants. I've not written some before. I had to do all these things. And my boss is very demanding because she's a high top woman in the space and all that. And just as Nana is saying, she hates it when you're asking a lot of questions. Get the job done. So what I decided to do was to talk to friends, get friends. I was sacrificing my sleep. I was going late on the job. Because here's the case where I'm working 9 to 5, but when I come home, I have to work again because I'm not skilled. I'm not skilled. So for a skilled person, it would take them an hour or two. But me, I'm an amateur. So it would take me even much more than the period that I'm supposed to work. And I wasn't sleeping, but I was still delivering. So in her mind, this lady gets it and she kept piling the job. So I realized that I can't take it and I resigned.
Fair enough. At least you learned something.
At least I learned something. Yeah. But why am I sharing this? I'm saying that sometimes you have to be willing to go out of your way. A lot of people want to learn but want to be comfortable. It doesn't work like that. Especially if you're working in a very competitive environment, in roles, you can't afford to slack. There's nothing like it's my first time. Because if you sit in certain rooms and you are called that position,
So the people you are meeting, they don't know that you are Namata. Neither do they know it's your first time. But you have to deliver.
Yeah.
Because you are representing the company. You are even representing your brand. So you don't want to disgrace yourself. So in as much as we are calling out the male to help us, you should also be willing to help yourself. You don't say that I haven't done it before. And you see, a lot of people feel comfortable by saying it's my first time. I haven't done it before. And they stay at that. You haven't done it before, so what are you doing now to get to know it? Are you asking for help? But a lot of people will be like, why are you being too impatient with me? Truth is, some people in high positions do not know how to work people and do not know how to work with people and understand their learning curves. So what it might take someone an hour to learn, it might take probably another person 5 hours to learn. The boss doesn't have the time for the 5 hours person. So they'll be demanding a lot from you. So it means to you, the person that it takes a longer time for you to work, you have to adopt other strategies that will lead you to be uncomfortable, like staying late, researching, even going to the office very early just to get certain things. And I was doing that because I know my boss doesn't take no for an answer.
Absolutely.
My boss could literally get upset because your PowerPoint doesn't look well. She should just say something to you and it'll mess your whole day. So, these are some of the challenges that, you might have to face, but if you really want to go through the process and really own that title of I'm a woman in tech, it means you have to be willing to pay the price.
Yeah.
To the question,
no one is willing to help.
I don't understand.
Like in my case, I did ask for help. But he had already started before I even had a chance to ask.
So you actually went to talk to him and they gave you something else to do, right?
He stopped.
And they made you handle it.
Yes.
So you were vocal about it. But some people say that, when I entered the company, I was saying they were not minding me. They gave it to somebody. Me, okay, I don't care. I asked, they didn't mind me. You get it? So again, these situations are based on individuals.
Yeah.
Nana can freely tell the boss that, please, today I'm having my crumbs. Can I please go home? Someone who might also feel like, my boss will think that, so either let me just do it. And you're not able to do it. And it will affect your performance. And they'll say you are not working. Then you go and stand somewhere and say, I was having crumbs. My boss was still making me work. But the boss didn't even know you had crumbs. So sometimes, largely, it's dependent on individuals. If you can be vocal, please voice out your challenges. And I think now there are a lot of companies that they are open to cultures that are very expressive. They allow you to voice. I have a policy in my organization that you can be vocal, but make sure you are respectful. You can equally voice out your opinions without being disrespectful.
Yeah.
But it's sad that most people, in their quest to voice out their opinions, they are being disrespectful. And nobody wants to be disrespected. So after doing all these things, they don't mind you and you are complaining because you were disrespectful. To them, you've offended them and they don't see the need to help you. But if you go and you're very polite, you voice, don't help.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think. To the question, you're talking about the culture, some practical ways. I think in organizations that are, I think organizations should start coming up with policies that suit women too as well. Because generally, HR policies are general. If you're a male, you should go by it. If you're a female, you should go by it. So to us that we have our different phases, regardless of whether you are in the phase or not, you have to do it because it's an HR policy. It doesn't have any exclusivity. But I think companies have to look at that yes, everything goes for everybody, but maybe to some policies, it doesn't apply to women. If with conditions attached, maybe if you are having your whatever phase, you can have a half day. You can come to the office. You don't need to come, send an email. And at first, I didn't want to work with Ghanaian companies when I started working remotely with foreign companies. But with my current place of work, it's one of the Ghanaian companies that I enjoy working, even though I'm not working remote, because they are very flexible. If you're not, just send an email. You don't have to come to the office. Just send an email that you can come to the office, because they have this policy that you come and you're unable to deliver. Then why are you there? But there are some companies, they still want to see you. Meanwhile, you are here and you are sick and you're not doing the job.
Your head is on the table.
Your head is on the table. But my place, you can come to work and complain that maybe you're having a stomach. Go home, go to the hospital. And we have healthcare policies too. So it's like, go. You have the card, just go. So I realize companies are actually paying attention. But then again, it depends on the founders too. Because for my company, our CEO is well traveled and he's worked internationally.
Okay.
So he's been exposed to different work cultures. So in his organization, it's very flexible. But to the person who hasn't been exposed, you might not get it. So it's a bit dicey, but I think we can still do some work.
Yeah. Putting policies in place,
Yeah.
making sure your company culture reflects the inclusivity and consideration for both genders. Final words, Nana Adwoa.
And my final words,
Yeah.
just generally. Okay, I think I wanted to speak about the policy
Okay,
stuff.
okay. Do you have something?
Those can be my final words.
Oh, okay.
But then I'll talk about my event, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So we were talking about the policy, and you also mentioned the fact that there's a tendency for people to take advantage of, I guess, the freedom and kind of take the piss and end up wrecking it for everybody else. But I also think that sometimes when you give freedoms, some people take liberties, yes. But when you give freedoms, it's for most people, it compels us to do better. If I feel like I have to hide and pretend like I'm sick to get a day off to go to the market because like they just don't understand that I have a life outside of work, then it means I'll hide all the time. But then if I know that there's freedom, as long as I'm getting my work done and I'm meeting my goals, my quotas, my company is fine, you're less likely to want to like pretend like you have crumbs when you don't. So there's also that, but I guess it comes down to teaching and encouraging people to be vocal and to respect the job and the company they're in enough to not be dishonest. We probably won't come and check your app and see, are you sure you're on your period today or something like that. But we have to trust you to be honest with us.
Right.
There's some universities, I think Ashesi is one of them, where they don't even have invigilators during exams. It's an honor code.
Wow.
You go in and write the exam. We trust you not to cheat. The Holy Spirit himself will make you feel so, you'll be so terrified because you don't know who's watching. There's something you're not watching, but you're like,
It's very true.
what if they're watching?
What if there's CCTV?
What if there's a CCTV and I don't know, they're
The
testing
code
me?
is that your fellow student is like the person has to report
Report if they see
if
something.
they see.
Wow.
Because if you are caught and they don't see it, but maybe they find out that someone saw it and didn't,
Then they're all in
they are
trouble.
all in trouble.
So you see now
amazing.
exactly that kind of, I guess, system could be where we're saying we're not going to punish you, but we're saying that it's an honor code. Here's a company policy, respect it, be honest with us, have some integrity. There's an honor code. If somebody is lying and says, no, I'm lying, I'm not my period, I'm going for a meeting or I'm going for a party or something like that, then we have to be able to trust each other
Right.
to uphold the values of the company and say, actually, this person wasn't taking a sick day, they were here. That way the company can trust that I can leave you guys to be honest with me and get the work done.
Again, communication.
Communication.
Let's see. Ubaida.
I'll say like proper planning. So if I know I'm going to be busy on a certain day and I can't go to work, I should be able to finish my tasks before then, such that nobody is waiting for me. I'm not wasting anybody's time and all of that. And then learning on the job as well. We should be allowed to grow on the job. With respect to the fact that we are not sending the company back. Yes, that's all I have to say.
So my final words.
Yes.
So, on the subject of getting women in tech, please, if you are interested in tech, come so that we should stop. I mean, that's on the lighter side, but all I want to say, thank you for having me building Bytes. I've been looking forward to this because Akweley, I think it was early last month or so that we spoke about it. So it's a pleasure to be here and also meeting Nana in person. I've been paying attention to your work
Thank you.
because your product is amazing.
Thank you.
And first time also meeting you, it's a pleasure. But generally, everything about getting women in tech is for us to promote the benefits of tech or how we all can tap into what tech has to offer. And so if we are saying more women to come in tech, it's not like we want to kick the men out. No, we are just saying that we also need more women to taste the goodness of tech. So please join us. Thank you.
I don't think the men will ever want to be kicked out. We don't even want them to be kicked out. We need them as much as we need more women in the space. So it's been a very lovely conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
your
having us.
honesty, for sharing openly your experiences, and I am hopeful that in the next 5 years, I hope it's even longer. I mean, it's shorter than that. We shouldn't be having conversations around getting women in tech,
Right.
diversity, inclusion.
That's
it
true.
should be a thing of the
tiring.
past. It's
Yeah.
tiring.
Yeah, it's very
It's
tiring.
exhaustive.
Yeah.
And we want to create an atmosphere where we don't even have to have the conversation. It should be a norm. And this is all tied to open communication. It's all tied to putting the right culture and policies in place, respect, and getting more women groomed about the opportunities in the space and in the career opportunities that they can leverage on in order to better their lives and better their families as well. So, which leads me to the opportunities in the tech space. I would like Nana Adwoa to share with us the opportunity for poker. Poker is organizing a very cool event.
Yes, I'm glad you think
Nice.
it's cool. I hope I'll see you there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
thank you. I hope you
I'm invited.
100%.
Okay, cool.
So January is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month,
Okay.
and it's one of the cancers that affects women most disproportionately because
Okay.
and like any cancer, really, early detection is what saves you. But many women don't have access to these tests or not even thinking about getting checked for cervical cancer. So as part of cervical cancer awareness, we're having we're calling it Pap Tea and Chill. Pap Tea really just means pap smear party. So Pap Tea. We had one this year.
Okay.
We had a number of women turn up. We partnered with Verify Health, and we take samples on site.
Okay.
We have food, we have drinks, we have conversations. We kind of just hang out and have pap smears.
Nice.
So we're having this again in January, 24th January. We're partnering with Marie Stopes to take the samples on site as well. This time it's going to be Friday evening. We're trying to do like a ladies' night type thing. There'll be
Nice.
games,
I'll
there'll be
be
conversations. Thank you so
Visualize
much.
the ladies' night.
Games, conversations, and most importantly, we're going to take samples, make sure that everybody's safe and healthy. Because when you do your test, you have 3 years before you have to worry about another test.
Okay.
Unless you've got the vaccine, in which case you can go much longer. So we want to have as many people coming in as possible to get tested so that we're reducing the prevalence of cervical cancer in Ghana. I've shared the link
Yes,
with
you
you.
have shared a link
Yes.
with me. And how do we register?
So it's a Google form. You
Okay.
register and purchase tickets through there. We have an early bird tickets, and then there is also a Polka Dolls exclusive. I mentioned the community. Community is called Polka Dolls. So people who are in the community will get access to that price. But you need to be in the community to get access to that price.
Okay, cool. Sure. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
inviting us. I believe we are all going to be there. Ubaida mentioned December
Because
for
you can.
Women Who Code.
Yeah, it's now Codebridge, the Codebridge Fellowship.
Okay.
So it's a 9-month-long fellowship for girls in the tech space who code
Okay.
but cannot afford laptops on their own. Some of them are in university in their final year, but they can't finish their final year project because they don't have laptops.
Okay.
So it covers the laptops, there's mentorship as well, and we also give them resources, and then they have workshops throughout the 9 months. So we are currently raising funds for that because Scan is a non-profit organization.
Okay.
So we are raising funds for that. You can donate to our social media. The links will be on our social media.
Okay.
At Because She Can _ on Twitter and Instagram, and Because She Can on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yes. Or you can visit our website, becauseshecan.tech.
So how do we donate?
So there's the Paystack link, then there's the Vodafone Cash. Let me just get the number.
Okay, cool. So we are donating to the cause of getting devices, laptops for women who are entering the tech space. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Who are in the tech space.
They are
Like
in
you
the
need
tech
to
space.
prove that you can actually code. You started something, but you are being hindered because of your lack of resources. Yes. So the number is 050-690-0543, and the name is Because She Can LBG.
Okay.
050-690-0543.
Okay. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Akosua.
Okay, so we have an upcoming event called the Future of Work. It's one of our flagship events that we do annually. But this year we didn't have it because next year we want to do it for 2 days. So we had to prepare. And it's coming off in March 2025. More details will be communicated via social. So you can follow us at Be Tech Connected on IG, Be Tech Connected on LinkedIn, Be Tech Connected on Twitter. And our other page is Be Future of Work, which is focused on just the future of work updates and everything about future of work.
Okay,
Thank you.
So what's future of work for those who don't know?
Oh, so Future of Work, basically as a community in our quest of helping young people to prepare themselves for the job market, we decided to come up with an initiative called Future of Work to educate them on how they can prepare themselves for future job markets. But again, our niche is technology.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So these are opportunities in the space. For funding, we also have the Health Tech Hub Africa Accelerator Program. They are open. They have some funding for health tech startups, and you can go to the healthtech.org/apply. You get access to all the information. Their funding available. The deadline to apply is January 17th. United Nations WTO Youth in Tourism Innovation Challenge 2025 is also giving some funding up to $1,500 worth of prizes. You can Google them as well. We have the Fallen Walls Foundation accepting applications for female science talents. So if you're in school and you want to have access to funding for your ventures, you can apply to the fallenwalls.com/project/female science talents. You find all the information. Deadline to apply is December 15th. And then the final funding opportunity is the Social Innovator Hub Incubation Program for young social innovators and entrepreneurs. A fully funded trip to Japan. You get access to a lot of information on the opportunitytracker.ug/opportunity. Yes. So we have so many funding opportunities on grantspilots.co. You can go to the website and you find all the information I have shared with you on the WhatsApp community as well. And that's how we wrap up this special All Stars Women in Tech episode with Nana Adwoa, Ubaida and Akosua.
It's a pleasure.
And of course, myself. This episode of Building Bytes was recorded in the studios of Hubtel Academy, and so I'd like to say a special thank you to the team here for production support. Don't forget to like this episode. If you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please do like this episode as well. And from all of us here, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.